Today, we are fortunate to be joined again by our good friend, Coin Shop Chris. He's going to give us an update on what's going on in the retail coin shop, retail investment community when it comes to silver and gold bullion. But we got a lot more to talk about. Chris, welcome back to Ron's Basement.
Well, thank you, Ron. It's good to be back. Been a crazy week.
Been a crazy week. Yeah, we want to hear all about it. But first, I wanted to touch on this with you. When you look out to next week, we got some big employment numbers today. Some people are saying we might get a pullback in the price of silver and gold next week. Do you have any thoughts on that, Chris?
We could see a pullback silver to about 24. That is what I'm looking for. Don't want it, but gold we could see touch back to 1980 or so. But we will see. We will have the CPI report come out on Wednesday. So, I mean, and everybody knows that's not an accurate report on top of it.
Right. Yeah, right. Well, same with even with the jobs numbers. I heard some people today saying, those numbers are always a little suspect, I guess you could say.
Very well be. If you think about it, let's just say our Costco closes down. Costco pays pretty well. Those people go look for 2 or 3 jobs to make up what they made at Costco. They count that as 2 or 3 jobs. It's in my opinion, it's fraud.
Yeah. Well, I'd heard that too. Like a lot of these, when we had these astronomically good jobs numbers earlier in the year and late last year, that a lot of those numbers were people that were taking second and third jobs just to make ends meet. And, I can believe it. I just picked up kind of a casual dinner for Susie and I from the Panera Bread Company, and it's like $30 now for 2, quick little meals for people. And it seems like, at least around here in St. Louis, I was surprised kind of the strip center, the Chinese restaurant was vacant, and I ran in to pick up the food at the Panera Bread. There was hardly anybody in there. I mean, granted, it's 8:00 at night and it's a Friday holiday weekend, but I would expect more people would be out. I think we're going to see some real economic slowdown hitting the United States in the next couple months.
Well, let me ask you this, Ron. Was that
Go ahead.
$30 dinner worth an ounce of silver to you? That's the way I look at it.
To me, no. But Susie, right? The ring the bell. I mean, she does such a good job bringing me coffee. I let her get whatever she wants. Now, that's a great question. And I'll tell you what, it's interesting you say that, because the bag, as I was carrying it, it felt lighter than 1 ounce of silver. So, yeah, boy, that's a great question. And you and I talked about that before. You go to the grocery store, are 5 heads of lettuce, a head of lettuce, $5 sometimes. 5 heads of lettuce, is that worth 1 ounce of silver? I don't know. Great point, Chris. Well taken. Good job.
Sorry, Ron. I just had to throw that one out there.
Yeah, right. Well, I haven't eaten it yet. So when I'm eating my ½ ounce of silver later, I'll be thinking about you. What about Texas? Our good friends in Texas, they are talking about, they have a bill. There's one in their House and one in their Senate. The state of Texas is talking about starting a gold-backed digital currency. I know you love digital currencies, Chris. Any thoughts on that?
Well, it's great. It's backed by gold, or the law looks like it's gonna be backed by gold. But the other thing I have in mind is the government is still gonna know what you're buying and how much you're buying of. Great to be backed by gold, but Uncle Sam still is watching you.
Yeah, there'll be an electronic record of every transaction. Yeah. I guess that's the drawback. Now, on the good side, and I want to get your thoughts on this as well, I read this law. It is very explicit in saying that the gold will be held in Texas at the Texas Depository, and that anytime one of those digital, I don't know what you call it, token, whatever, one unit of that currency is sold, that immediately a representative amount of gold must be purchased. What I number one, I like that it's 1-to-1. Number two, I like that it's going to be highly regulated by the state. In terms of highly regulated, I mean, people can feel confident that the gold is actually there. Also, if you want to get your physical gold, if you want to trade your digital currency in for gold, you can go do that as well. There were some really interesting components to it. I do think that if we think that precious metals are going to be used more as legal tender, that we are going to have some type of electronic alternative for people, and that it's important that it's regulated, and that it's very transparent, and that people have trust in it. Because, and then I promise I'll shut up, Chris, but because I think that could create some huge demand for physical metals, right? I mean, if this works down there, the state of Texas is going to be buying a lot of gold.
Well, just look at it this way too. The government tried to regulate the banks. That didn't work. I would like to see pictures of this gold they have to prove they actually have it. I mean, I'm a big believer, and I think most of your viewers may know this already. You don't hold it, you don't own it. It's not, your gold's not safe in the safe deposit box at the bank. How can you trust? This is to me like another bank. I mean,
yeah.
I don't trust the banks. I don't like to say it, but I just don't trust the banks.
Well, I think the argument could be made that they haven't given you a lot of reasons to trust them, right?
That's true. Lately, they have not.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they had pictures of your gold or silver in the vault, maybe it's a little safer.
Yeah.
You're talking about now, you're talking about a state regulating. Well, I don't think these states can do any better job than the federal government. So I just don't know, Ron. I just don't have a good feeling with that.
Right.
Your silver and gold is safer at home in your safe, or somewhere in off location where you know where it's at.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. My only thought is that from a everyday commerce perspective, that if we think that gold and silver are going to be utilized as in commerce, day-to-day commerce, that there will have to at some point be some type of electronic mechanism, excuse me, to allow people to use it, to buy groceries, to buy gas, that type of thing.
Well, and we have that now.
Right.
We have that now, which called credit cards or debit cards.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, if we get to that point, not if, I think when we get to that point, it will be good, but then still Uncle Sam's going to know everything you buy.
Yes.
I mean, and most people don't have anything to hide, but why would you want somebody to know everything you buy?
Yeah. Right. Well, and I think maybe a way that some people could look at it is, if they're a stacker, they keep a stack at home, right? Like, you don't hold it, you don't own it type mentality. But then maybe with a small portion of what they want to use for, paying bills and doing their day-to-day weekly commerce, that with this, either like this solution that Texas is proposing, that might help accomplish that means.
And you're right. Most people now pay bills either automatically through their checking account or savings account, and that's all done. All people go online to pay their bills. Right. Yes, we will need some of that, but you should have an option like you do now with the cash, the greenbacks,
Right.
buying what you want without the government knowing it. It
Yeah.
really goes back 25 years or 30 years, whenever PayPal came out. That's a digital currency. People don't realize that. It goes back
Hmm.
that far. It's been around for years. And it's just coming to a head where I don't see the greenbacks going to be in circulation by the end of this decade.
Yeah. No, I don't foresee paper money being around for all that much longer. No way.
No, I mean, it's the way we've been doing sales at the shop. It's just unreal.
Unreal. Well,
Unreal.
before we get to that, I want to ask you if you saw, guys, I'm Chris. I'm not, Chris is not giving these questions beforehand. So this is just off the top of the cuff when I hit him with these things. But
Oh boy.
what about Rep Mooney, our friend Rep Mooney from West Virginia? Did you hear about him?
No, sir.
Well, he's a congressman from West Virginia, and he and two other congressmen put forth a bill, I guess in the United States Congress. I'm not an expert on how all that stuff works, to bring back the gold standard to the United States on a national basis. I think, we won't spend a lot of time talking about this because I think it's really important. It's really cool. I don't think it has much of a chance of moving forward. But Rep Mooney from West Virginia and two other congressmen sponsored this bill to put the United States back on the gold standard, to audit Fort Knox as well. Like I said, I'm not preparing Chris for this stuff, but any reaction to that one?
Well, I guess, do we have 31 plus trillion dollars in gold at Fort Knox? I don't think so.
Depends
I
what
don't see
you.
that happening.
Well, it's interesting you say that because one of the other YouTube personalities, I watched a brief video he did on this. I think he calculated that they would have to revalue gold to $350,000 per ounce to cover everything. So there's enough gold at Fort Knox. It just depends on what we value it at, right?
Exactly.
First Mining Gold is a development company advancing two of the largest gold projects in Canada. Springpole in Ontario and Duparquet, located in Quebec, each already has 5 million ounces of gold reserves, but exploration initiatives are underway at both projects to find even more gold. First Mining is well financed, has zero debt, and owns an interest in 4 additional Canadian gold development projects.
So tell us how the retail coin, bullion, what's going on out there? What are you seeing at the retail level right now?
It is still hard to find stuff. I'm sourcing stuff from everywhere. I've even gone to eBay bullion dealers to source stuff. I've gone to private sellers on eBay. We have never really done that before. It's just not even much there. Yes, there is a lot. I want to say there's a lot there. It's overpriced. I cannot see anybody paying 28, 29, 33 times face for 90%. And people are buying it off of eBay. People are panicked.
Wow.
To all your viewers, be careful. I would not, my shop right now, the one I work for, where we're selling 90% for 25 times face. I wouldn't pay it. All right. I can still get for myself 20 times face on eBay. It's not easy, but I can do it on a pretty regular basis. It may not be much, might be 2 silver halves. I was happy to find a silver dime for $2. That's how, and people might laugh at me saying, oh, it's only 1 silver dime coin shop, Chris. Well, it all adds up.
It's only 1 silver dime coin shop, Chris. That's right.
Well,
It all does add up. A silver dime that happens to be worth $2, right?
Melt value right now, $1.81.
Yeah.
At the time of recording this video. And before we go any further, if everybody can give this video a thumb up, like, share, and subscribe to the Ron Basement, please do. You get more information every time he comes on. Now I'll be
Yeah.
quiet about that.
Well, I want to say something. Thank you for saying that, Chris. And I want to say something to all the viewers. If you could give Chris a hello in the comments and tell him thank you for joining us, because Chris does this purely out of the kindness of his heart. He's not trying to sell you anything. So any information that he's sharing with you, the time that he's given us, he has no financial or economic interest. There's no link below to buy anything from him or anybody else. So if you don't mind, tell him thanks in the comments.
Well, thank you, Ron. I appreciate that. I'll give your viewers another point. Pinehurst coins on eBay, the bowling dealer on eBay. My friend got rounds March 13th, $500 a tube, 20 coins, 20 rounds, whatever you want to call them. Today, there's 601, $101 up from March 13th. That's less than a month. Y'all, that's less than a month. Where are you going to make that money in the bank?
Yeah. And so a lot of this was the result of the banking crisis and people kind of getting a little, and it was something broke in the system, right? This banking crisis, and nobody really has, that I've heard, has paid any consequences for this. So I don't want to make it out to be like a small event that occurred, but it sure was a big reaction in the precious metals market, right? I mean, the prices went up significantly and the supply of metals, I mean, it's out there, like you said, but it's very expensive. And it's certainly not out there in abundance, right? Like when you go to your local coin shop, they're not needing to stack silver coins on the sidewalk out in front of the place. I mean, there's not a lot of inventory. There's not a lot available. And I heard some people refer to it as like the mini bank. I mean, what happens if we have a real crisis? What happens if people start to wake up and we get even just a few more people that come into the world of precious metals? There's nothing available.
There's not going to be. I mean, we have four safes. They're normally plumb full. I'm lucky to be able to fill 1.5 safes.
Wow.
Right now, I got 2 empty safes. I'm not trying to panic anybody. If you're going to trade, I don't want to call it buy silver and gold. I do not like that term. We're not buying anything. If you're going to do it, I would not wait for a dip. We may not see the dip. We might see it a little bit next week. Premiums are not going down. The premiums will not come down if we see a $1 dip in the price of silver. They're going to stay about the same. I'll refer back to those rounds. If you went to Liberty Coin right now, they're selling rounds singly $36.95 for one. That's over $700 for 20. So if you bought them on March 13th, you done yourself well already. Junk silver, not 90% silver. I just can't get it. I got some. It comes in, it goes out as fast as it comes in. Like I said, we're at 25 times face. We're paying 22.5. Other shops around me are paying about 22.5, but they're selling for 26, 27, up to 27.
Wow.
And I've even heard one story at 28 times. I cannot verify that for sure. I don't know.
So the price is what sounds like what you're saying is that there's some inventory available, but at a hefty price. That the inventory is constricted, and what is available, especially at the retail level now, is being paid or sold at a really high premium. My question, I think what's so important for you and me to realize, I guess I'm going to repeat this because I think it's so critical, for more and more people are starting to wake up to what's going on, right? The big picture, right? The financial mismanagement, the financial condition of the country, the de-dollarization in the world. And I mean, we're almost out of silver and gold right now. and it's just us. I mean, it's just the silver and gold bugs with maybe just a few new people. If we get just a small group of new people coming in, it could get crazy. It could really get crazy.
I've probably seen 5 to 7% increase the past month and a half.
Mhm.
Even just before the banking crisis, people were starting to see something going on. I see new people every day.
Yeah.
I cannot say that enough. I mean, I see new people every single day. And yes, you see a lot of the repeat customers been coming in for years. I will tell you, Ron, I think we've talked about this, you and I, off this our film here. We had to put a limit on junk.
Yeah.
We're not selling anybody more than $50 face at a time. This shop owner has never done that in about 30, I believe he's been in business for 37 years. First
Wow.
time in history, he had to put a limit on 90%. On every single day, they can come in by $50 face value, whatever the price is. It's sad. We might have to start doing that with other products. We're
Wow.
not there yet.
Yeah, I called my local coin shop tonight, and they said they had some 10-ounce bars, excuse me, and a few silver rounds. I was searching through that phone. I'd taken a screenshot of one of the comments on a video I made a couple days ago. I think the guy's name was George Gomez was his username. And he basically said that his bullion dealer had been calling him like a month ago, was pestering, basically not pestering him, but calling him a lot, trying to get him to buy silver. And he said, I bought a bunch of silver a month ago. And he said, I called my bullion dealer to tell him thank you, because it's gone up in value. And now all the guy's doing is trying to get me to sell it back to him.
Sell it back and make a little bit more, yes.
Yeah. So it just shows you what's going on out there. There is a constriction in the supply. It's going to be interesting. Chris, anything else before we wrap
Yeah,
up?
I just want
Yep.
to touch one more thing with you, Ron.
Yeah,
I see some of the comments that, oh, this shop has silver. Yeah, your shop might have silver and gold. Okay, when did they get it in? Have they had it in? It depends on the shipments. Coin shops, don't make a lot of money. We're lucky at times to make 1%. Right now, we're probably in the 4 to 5% range because we've had some stuff before the jump. Yes, we got to go up on everything else. It's just like your gasoline in the ground. Gas could be $3.20 one day. You wake up the next morning, it's $3.57. Well, they only had gas in the ground they bought for the $3.20 price. That you had bought it for the day before.
Right.
Nobody questions them. Why can't I get your gas was only in the ground that you got it for cheaper? It just don't work that way, because on the back end, if silver and gold takes the dump, we got to take the loss on the back end. So it works both ways.
Right.
It cannot, in this business, it can't be a one-way street where the business is going to lose all the time.
Right. No, the knife cuts both ways, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I think well, I think most people understand that, but some don't. And the some that don't can sometimes be very vocal. Right.
And we've had some vocal people come in, and you just got to try to be nice and explain to them. It kind of works both ways. And
yeah,
some stuff we have to, not some stuff, all stuff we got to hold for certain periods of time where the shop is located where I work.
Right.
Some states don't have that law. It depends on your local city, your state, wherever. Like state of New Hampshire, they can take it in and sell it right off. There's a lot of states like that can bring it in and sell it right off.
Mm-hmm.
When we have to hold certain items for 20 days, 30 days, depending on what the product is, we don't know what silver or gold is going to be in 20, 30 days. So we got to price that in, because I'm going to have to say we're betting it's going to go down. If it goes
Right.
up, well, great. The shop made a little bit more.
Right. Well, you can ask people, you could say, the inventory that you're buying today at $25 silver, if we wake up, God forbid, Monday morning and silver's $15, you aren't, the people that are wanting to buy silver are going to want to buy it for much less than $25, right? I mean, it just to explain to people that if the price drops, we have all this inventory. I mean, whatever number of ounces a shop has in their inventory, if the price drops by an ounce, they're taking a hit, or drops by $1, I'm sorry, they're taking a hit.
Exactly. And that's
Yeah.
what happened in 2011 when silver was $50 and it dropped. Coin shops took a hit.
Yep. Yep. All right, buddy. Thank you. We always appreciate your generous input and insight, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you again next week, Chris.
Well, thank you, Ryan. Maybe we can get that gold bear to peak out at 22.50.
Yeah, we'll let him look out of one eye, right?
There we go.
Right on. All right, buddy. I'll talk to you later.